Injury Prevention. Module 4. Handling and Lifting. Welcome to the Injury Prevention course, Module 4. Handling and Lifting. The objective of this course is to increase employees' awareness of injury risks encountered daily in the work environment and provide the tools and techniques necessary to avoid these injuries. By the end of this lecture, you will have a good understanding of handling and lifting hazards, and you will learn the methods and techniques to prevent injuries. Handling. Let's talk about the reality of what we do every day. Whenever we're handling, lifting, or moving equipment, we are stepping into a zone where injuries can happen. It doesn't matter if you're pushing, pulling, carrying, or just trying to restrain a piece of gear. Those actions put a lot of stress on our bodies. Think about your hands, your back, your legs. These are the tools we rely on to do our jobs and live our lives outside of work. None of us come here wanting to cause an accident or deal with a preventable injury. The most important thing to keep in mind is that you are in control. Before you make a move, remember that you have the power to choose the safest method. Don't just react to the weight. Take a second, assess the move, and choose the path that keeps you safe. Our hands and fingers are usually the first things we put at risk during a shift, and it only takes a split second for a serious injury to happen. The biggest threat we face here are pinch points. These can be anywhere, between a tool and a workpiece, or even moving parts on a machine. The goal is simple. Before you start a task, you have to identify exactly where those danger zones are. Once you see them, your first move should be to eliminate the risk entirely if you can. If you can't get rid of it, you have to be intentional about avoiding it. Keep your eyes on where you're placing your hands. Let's make sure everyone goes home with the same number of fingers they arrived with. Now that we know what the risks are, let's look at how we actually prevent them. It really comes down to 3 main areas. First, to stay clear of those pinch points, let the equipment do the heavy lifting. Whenever possible, use mechanical aids like slings. It keeps your hands out of the danger zone entirely. Next, we have to stay mindful of cuts. This means taking a second to remove any sharp edges or burrs before you start. And of course, always wear the right PPE and make sure you're using the specific tool designed for the job. Don't try to make a tool do something it wasn't meant to do. Finally, we need to talk about loss of grip. A tool slipping out of your hand is a recipe for disaster. Keep your gear and tools clean. Grease and dirt are your enemies here. Always use the proper lifting points or handles, and if it's too much to handle manually, grab a sling or a hoist. There's no reason to muscle through something when we have the right aids to do it safely. Moving down the body, let's talk about our feet and legs. Most injuries here aren't caused by something dramatic. They usually start with a simple tripping hazard that nobody noticed or addressed. It really comes down to the environment we create for ourselves. If you see an obstacle in a walkway, don't just walk around it, remove it. If there's a loose floor plate, a cord, or an uneven surface, let's get it fixed before someone else pays the price for it. Ultimately, this is about good housekeeping. Keeping a clean, organized workspace isn't just about looking professional. It's a fundamental safety practice. When our floors are clear, we can move with confidence and focus on the job at hand instead of constantly watching our step. The next thing we need to stay sharp on is the risk of falling objects. This is one of those hazards where the danger often comes from above, when we least expect it. The first line of defense is how we handle our equipment. Everything needs to be stored correctly. Don't just set something down on a ledge or a high surface and assume it'll stay put. If you're working at height or moving gear, make sure it is secured properly. Whether that's using lanyards for your tools or ensuring a load is balanced, that extra 10 seconds of work can prevent a life-changing accident below. Finally, we have our proper PPE. Your hard hat and steel toes are your last line of defense. They aren't just a policy requirement. They're there specifically to give you a fighting chance if something does slip. Let's keep ourselves and our teammates safe by minding what's above us. Now, let's look at injuries to our limbs, our arms and legs. This often comes down to overexertion. It's that moment where we try to push just a little too hard, or we think we can handle a weight that's really a bit much for one person. When we push past our limits, we end up with muscle strains. These might feel like minor aches at first, but they can quickly turn into long-term issues that affect how we move every day. It's important to remember that toughing it out isn't the goal here. The goal is to work smart. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. If a task feels like it's requiring too much force, stop and reassess. Let's make sure we're using the right techniques and tools so we aren't wearing our bodies down unnecessarily. This slide covers one of the most common and often most debilitating types of injuries, the back. Unlike a cut or a scrape, a back injury can stay with you for a long time, so we really need to watch how we move. Most of these issues stem from a few specific habits. First, there's bending from the waist instead of the knees, which puts all the pressure on your lower spine. Then we have overreaching, where we try to grab something just out of range instead of moving closer to it. We also have to be careful with twisting and jumping. Twisting while carrying a load is a major red flag for your discs, and jumping down from equipment can send a shock through your spine that it isn't designed to handle. Essentially, it all comes down to improper positioning. If your body isn't aligned and stable before you lift or move, you're putting yourself at risk. Let's make it a habit to stop, set our position, and then move. So, how do we actually protect our backs? It starts with staying in what we call the safe working zone. This means keeping the work and the weight close to your body, between your mid-chest and your waist. The further away you reach, the heavier that object becomes for your spine to handle. Next, we have to stay disciplined with our lifting techniques. We've all heard it 1,000 times, but it's the truth. Lift with your legs, not your back. Take that extra second to set your feet and get a good grip before you commit to the move. Finally, focus on natural alignment. When you keep your head, shoulders, and hips in a straight line, it's not just about looking proper, it's about physics. Alignment is what gives you the power, balance, and stability you need to handle equipment without straining yourself. If you stay aligned, your body works as a single, strong unit rather than putting all the pressure on one or two small muscles in your back. Lifting. To put things into perspective, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 accidents in the workplace comes directly from lifting and handling tasks. That's a huge percentage of incidents that are often entirely preventable. When these accidents happen, the back is almost always the part of the body that takes the hit. And it's not always one big, dramatic event that does the damage. Often, it's the repetitive minor injuries, those little tweaks and strains we ignore, that add up over time. That cumulative effect can eventually lead to a serious, long-term injury that keeps you off the job. Because the stakes are so high, avoiding back trouble isn't just about luck. It's about taking the time to learn and use the correct techniques for lifting and handling every single time. It's the only way to ensure we stay healthy and capable for the long haul. When we talk about manual lifting, it's all about the mechanics of how you set yourself up. The very first thing you need to do is get close to the load. If you're reaching out for it, you've already lost the battle. Before you lift, tighten your stomach muscles to create a solid core. But, and this is important, do not hold your breath. You need that oxygen moving to keep your muscles functioning. As you lean forward, focus on keeping your curves. Think of a professional weightlifter. They keep that natural arch in their back to protect the spine. When the move happens, lift with your legs, not your back, and keep that load tucked in close to your body. Finally, if you need to change direction, pivot, don't twist. Use your feet to turn your whole body. Your back isn't built to handle twisting from side to side under a load, so let your legs do the rotating for you. Sometimes, the safest way to handle a load isn't to muscle through it alone. Before you even reach for the equipment, think before you lift. Ask yourself if there's a better way. Maybe a mechanical aid is available, or perhaps the path needs to be cleared first. If the job is too much for one person, that's where team lifting comes in. But remember, a team lift only works if everyone is on the same page. You have to communicate your intentions clearly. Don't just start pulling. Make sure your partner knows exactly when you're lifting, which way you're moving, and when you're about to set it down. When we talk to each other, we move as one, and that's how we keep everyone safe. When it comes down to it, Our goal is to work smarter, not harder. If a job can be done by a machine or a tool, then there's absolutely no reason to use your body as the primary engine. Lifting aids are there for a reason. They take the strain off your joints and spine so you don't have to. But even with the right tools, the environment matters. Before you start moving anything, take a moment to clear the pathways. You don't want to be halfway through a lift only to realize there's a hazard in your way. Remove those obstacles and make sure your route is wide open. A clear path means a predictable move, and a predictable move is a safe one. Before we ever put our hands on a piece of equipment, we need to perform what I call a mental lift. This is where you engage your brain before you engage your muscles. Think before you lift. Don't just rush in. Take 5 seconds to scan your environment and actively watch out for hazards that could turn a routine task into a dangerous one. You need to look in every direction. Check underfoot for anything you could trip on, but also look overhead for low clearance issues or falling risks. Keep an eye out for spills that could cause a slip, and even consider the lighting. If you can't see clearly where you're going, you shouldn't be moving that load. By visualizing the entire move from start to finish, you can spot the problems before they happen. To wrap things up, let's look at the big picture. Everything we've discussed today boils down to a few key habits that will keep you safe on the job. First and foremost, think before you lift. Take that mental pause to evaluate the load. Look at the weight, the shape, and where the best lifting points are before you commit. If it's awkward or heavy, use mechanical aids. There is no reason to put your body through unnecessary stress when we have tools to do the work. Before you make a move, always remove obstacles. A clear path is a safe path. And remember, you don't have to do it all alone. Ask for help and share the load whenever you need to. Ultimately, it's about discipline. Stay in those safe working zones, stick to correct lifting practices, and keep your body in that natural alignment. If you maintain your posture and stay stable, you're not just finishing the task, you're making sure you're healthy and ready to go for the next one. Thanks for your time. Let's look out for each other out there. If you enjoyed this presentation, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep creating more content like this. See you in the next video.